the rousing, the critically acclaimed Rod's thoughts, but we got to get that drum roll going first, Shout out to you people out there, man. What up, though, people? It's your boy Brandon Dent, aka Detroit Kool-Aid, and you're rocking out with the Woodward Pistons podcast on the Woodward Sports Network. Look, Mr. Jeff Freddy, he is kind of like taking over the world right now. He's on the Morning Woodward show, and he's going to be hosting the home games Lions pregame show. He's going to be down at Eastern Market, man, just cutting the fool. And then post road games, I believe he and Booner are going to be hosting those on Woodward Sports YouTube channel. I'm proud of Jeff, man. I'm just like, I give him a clap real quick. We're over here looking at his clips and everything. See, he has a presence still, guys. We have actual real Jeff.
We knew him when.
It's AI Jeff today.
we knew him when he was a small guy.
Yeah. Hey, listen. I like everything he's doing too behind the scenes, but he's still Hollywood, Jeff, to me, man. He is Hollywood. He charters his own private jet to go from Woodward Sports to Eastern Market now, where the home pregame shows are going to be. I'm like, yo, bro, you like a little helicopter, man. They just come and just pick him up, and he just goes. We all have to drive our cars the 15 minutes down there.
That's Jeff.
But let me get this drum roll going for you, man. I'm proud of you, Jeff. Keep doing your thing, brother. Shout out, man. Let's get this going. I'm pretty pumped up this morning, man. We got some stuff to talk about. Hey, yo! Shout out and welcome to the legend Detroit News, Rod Beard. Brother, how are you doing? Welcome. And you know what, brother? Just take it away, man. Take it away with the Rod's thoughts.
My thought is on the FIBA World Cup, and I was trying not to pay attention to this and not to care about it as much. But when the U.S. loses to Lithuania, and the thought is, hey, you know what? We really didn't have any big men on this squad. And now we're talking about the return of big men. We've been talking about the return of big men, that it was starting to circle back. But when you have Paolo and 3J as sort of your big men, and they get into foul trouble, and then you have some problems. I mean, you know who was on that select team that could have been there and helping out? But I will say, I like the idea of the return of the traditional big man, and saying that rosters need to have one. It may not come back to the NBA all at once, but it's just something to think about, that there's a noticeable, on the international stage, lack of big men for the U.S. And if Jalen Duren is going to, I don't want him to go full Drummond and start hoisting up threes, because he has to fit in with the rest of the NBA's bigs. But if he's just going to be a traditional big and rim run, sort of play defense and hover around the rim, I like that. I like that and what it means in the bigger scheme.
What do we coin on this show? The big man triage.
Mm-hmm.
The big man triage. Yep. Active defense, pick and roll, rebounding. And he came in right away. Summer League kind of gave us a little flash. Came into the league, showed us that he would be able to kind of do this thing effectively. And then as the year went on, it's like, yeah, this guy is kind of next level, to the point that you have NBA players saying, and former NBA players saying that this guy is like baby Dwight Howard. Mm-hmm. I don't know how many people really remember the start of Dwight Howard's career. I know a lot of people remember Dwight later on in his, like Lakers Dwight Howard, who I believe was still good, but Orlando Dwight Howard, that guy was a monster. And when people are comparing Jalen Duren to that guy, I'm sitting here like, yo, his book ended. Comparisons now when he was drafted is Sean Kemp, and now you got NBA players saying prime Dwight Howard. Jalen Duren would have made a difference. He would have made a big difference. And Cade Cunningham as well. Man, I saw people trying to make jokes about, Austin Reeves being better than Cade Cunningham all season. Like, just weird jokes. And I know people can't be serious. I know, I get it, bro.
For real.
I never brought that that's why I never brought that. That was never coming to the platform. But it's like right now, it's like the universe provides us this opportunity to kind of just be able to just peer into that. If we would have just went into that aspect of followed that lead. And it's just like, man, Cade and Duren on this squad right now, I don't think we're looking at a loss right now. I just don't. I don't think that those guys tick that way. And you put them around that much talent, especially with the connector ability that Cade has. I think we're seeing the reason why he's going to be separated from some of these people that we're going to talk about a little bit later. But I agree with you, man. I agree with you. Rod's bringing the heat already, man. Already. Look, I want to talk Cade Cunningham, and I got the shades for it today, too. I had to, man.
It's
We're getting
time.
closer to the season, but Killian Hayes really quickly. Did you see the video?
Yes. What? We were just doing such good things. And then you want to hit me with a Killian. But let's go. Okay, let's go.
Listen, he won't go away, brother. He will not go away. It's I don't know what to make of Killian Hayes. I've continued to kind of be bullish on him throughout the summer, and I've told people this. I said, you know what? I'm a little bit bullish on Killian, but I'm tired of like the workout footage, especially this one. People were like, it looks like the crossovers are kind of staged and such. And I was like, look, I'm not getting into this, that, neither here nor there. I believe that if Killian Hayes is on this roster, he still provides the ability, I think in the tweet I said, to be a good 7th and 8th man. And that's my at best. I believe that right now he still fits on this squad while you have people like Sasser trying to figure certain things out. And I don't think that you can't find a use for a 6'5", kind of bigger bodied, one of your better defenders and better playmakers. If he's on the roster, what are we going to see? I just want your unabashed opinion on Killian Hayes. Like, what do you believe we're going to see from this guy if he's on this roster? And it's his future. Does he have any hope, of figuring this thing out with the Pistons? Because it looks like the ship is sailing by with the amount of guards that they have, with the cap space coming up, with the fact that they have to make improvements on this roster, and it's not going to come at the expense of guys like Sasser and Morris, who's on a really, really good deal, just in my opinion. So I want your opinion on it so I can also have a better, more to kind of pull from when we're talking about Killian Hayes.
I think he's on his last string. I think he's made his bed and he's had plenty of opportunities to say, okay, now this is who I am, and this is what I'm going to show you. And I just wanted to make sure I got the contract number right. $7.4 million.
Ooh.
Is it a team
That poll's
option?
gonna be crazy.
Is that right?
He's at about 7.5 this year, man. That's his raise this year. Went up about $2.5 million from last year, which is
I gotta check that. It says it's a team option, and it has been exercised already. I wonder if it's fully guaranteed. I guess it would have to be fully guaranteed. So he's basically made his bed, and Troy Weaver has said, not verbally, but said in his actions, by going out and getting other options, we're preparing for you to not be with this team. If it's Sasser, if it's Osser, we have other guys who can sort of do things that you do. If defense was his biggest thing and you went out and got Thompson, then you're saying, all right, we're looking at something else. If you went and got Sasser and went and got Sasser, it wasn't Sasser fell to you. You went and got him. You're saying we need other options. And if Killian's going to be your third point guard, I don't think there's anything wrong with that for this season. But at 7.4,
I can't do it.
If you're trying to create some space at the, I don't know. I would like to see him get some chance to do something, but I think he's had enough chances, and if he doesn't, then there's nobody else to blame but himself.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too. Like, I like to make sure that this thing is like fully prefaced, at least how I feel about it. I'm not advocating for Killian. I'm looking at, my GM hat with my cap hat on. Is there a Killian out there on a deal less than $7.5 million a year that makes sense for the Pistons? Because we know that they're going to pick up guys at the end of their roster, and does it make sense for Killian? That's the only aspect of it. Like, if he wasn't our player that we drafted, there's no way we're even sitting here having this conversation about this player. But since he's here, you have some aspect of familiarity. You have some sense that this person wants to work to get it right. And it's like, Killian, I'm glad to see him get this last opportunity, because they gave Sekou that type of opportunity. But I think if Sekou was in this environment, I don't think Sekou gets that last year. Where the Pistons are headed right now, they're not in that wait and see development type thing. They waited and saw Ivy in one season. They say, okay, look, we're gonna focus in on Ivy and Duren becoming dependable starters by the next season. And Killian Hayes is going into year 4, and they're trying to figure out, can this guy be a dependable role player off the bench? And so it's like, man, with the flashes we've seen, his flashes, to me, his peaks, they've been higher than guys, in my opinion, that we've had here, than guys like Brandon Knight throughout the years, Stanley Johnson and such. We've seen some really solid stretches, some really, really solid stretches. Have those other guys like Brandon Knight, was he more consistent? Yes. But Killian Hayes, to me, had a little bit more next level talent to him. And it just seems like the confidence issues have just continued to kind of keep him, I don't know, in his own head. You know, it's the thing that Casey's continued to talk about with Killian. But I just wanted to be able to talk about Killian Hayes real quick. I thought it was funny, man. That his videos that came out, you already know what the internet did. The internet is just going to town. I think Andre Drummond ruined it for us all. For every Pistons player who comes out with summer workouts videos, bro, it's done. It's a wrap. Like, somebody posted a tweet to me, and they were like dance if you ruined summer workouts for Pistons players, and it's Andre Drummond going. Like,
yeah,
people get it, man, and you know what? I respect that, because we're to the point now in this Pistons restoration or restore where it's about accountability. You know, it's about your responsibility. It's about meeting those check marks. This is what we talked about, that coming into this season, the scrutiny goes up a little bit more. And we're talking about a player who just last year, we had a lot more hope in. We believed this guy was going to, we talked about it, Troy, you know, hitting and picking up those player options and everything, clearing the deck and getting rid of the people behind him, moving them up in the order and all of that, and just making sure he had everything he needed. That's what you want out of your GM and out of your coach. You know, I can't ask more except for whatever you do with the picks after that. And they've been apt, man. But I want to talk about this man.
You said accountability. I think accountability goes to. Give me one quick sec. Accountability goes to.
Yeah, I got you.
And for Troy, it is you can't keep stringing Killian along and say, what would he want in a contract for next year? Even if you did bring it back for the 24-25 season, what would he would he be a $3 million guy? Would he be a minimum guy? And if he's making 7.5, you can't. He could come to the table and say he wants something more. I don't know how. His agent would have to do a magic trick for me. But accountability is also, and we've seen this from Troy, he's not going to pay guys who are fringe players. He's not going to keep them on the books. And so I just think it's a tough year for Killian to try to do something.
Look, I'm chuckling because they said his agent was the one who put the video out, you know, and it's like his agent got to do magic. It's like, you know what?
He's doing his job. He's doing his job. What do you want his agent to do?
That I get. And it's, man, oh man, it's tough. I want to see the guy do
did
good.
He have Pistons gear on? Did Killian have Pistons gear on in that video?
Let me see, man. Let me go back to it. I believe he did, but let me go back to it, man, because people are still responding and still saying stuff to it. People are like, man, some people are like, let it go. But I'm going to be for real with you. A lot of people in the comments have been like, you know what? We're pretty bullish on him. All right, here we go.
Because if he didn't have on Pistons gear,
I think he has on the Pistons.
Okay, there it is. There it is. I won't even say it then. He had on Pistons gear.
Pistons, man. Then multiple gear. Okay, so he changed it up a little bit. I don't know if this is all the same day or if it's like the next day. But yeah, Pistons gear. Looked like the trainer got on. Can't tell if it's Pistons shorts or not, but
nope,
yeah,
there it is.
We get a start.
There it is. So it brings up some interesting questions. If he is with the team out of training camp and he still has if he's still with the team out of training camp, it brings up some interesting questions about what they would do. But if he's your third point guard for this year, I don't have an issue with it. It's not the
Yeah, no issue. But obviously, the future. I think you said it right, and it is right. You know, he's on his last leg. I think he's beyond his last leg, personally.
Yeah,
And Troy, like you said, with the accountability aspect, I don't think that he's waiting around. I think he's kind of set the market for, everybody kind of see the writing on the wall. So, Killian and his agent, it is kind of clear to see what it is, especially with, I believe Sasser is a dog, man. I don't think that guy's going to rest on his laurels. I don't know what he's going to be as a player necessarily. I have kind of my comps and such, but he's a guy to me that you talk about that confidence, you talk about that go hard, you talk about that I'm trying to end the rim every single time I'm driving. Like, I like Marcus Sasser. I like him. And that's the type of mentality that I want on this squad, no matter what people believe the perceived skill set is. Like people talk about Beef Stew and whatnot. I'm just like, listen, you need a guy like Beef Stew. Like, you heard him. You heard the kerfuffle with Gilbert Arenas and Isaiah Stewart.
I'm sorry, I just don't pay attention. I don't pay attention to Gilbert Arenas. It's not.
Let me tell you the story, bro. So Gil has been saying some wild stuff, man, especially about the Pistons. And you could tell he's really trying to provoke Detroit. Little media, right? Small market.
Yep.
But we're always the ones provoked. I wonder why. And so he said some stuff about LeBron. Stewart didn't do anything, go after LeBron until his teammates came around. And that's when he started going crazy. Now, look, we know that Stu was chilling and that he was sitting there. And then he started tasting his own blood, bro. And then he touched his face and saw the blood. And then that's what happened. His teammates came around to be like, bro, chill, you're bleeding. That's what literally happened. You go back, you look at the video. Gil put out there that Stu was basically being a fake tough guy. He said this about Beef Stew. Stu rolled up on him on an event, bro, alone. Gil was like, I was scared. He was like, he came up to me and I didn't know what was going on. And he hit me up with this, well, I ain't got my teammates now. And Gil said he had to sit there and think because the podcast was some time ago. He was like, huh? Then he was like, oh, he's here to whoop my.
But see, here's the thing.
He said he's a Pistons fan now.
You always have to be accountable for stuff that you say on a podcast. You always do. It's never hey, man, I didn't say that, or that was 2 years ago. I've changed my stance on what. It's always, and that's why I'm so careful and measured in stuff that I say, because I don't want to say wild stuff and end up 2 years later, hey, you said something about, and I'm like, bro, I do a podcast every week. I don't remember what I said 2 years ago. But it is, but if you are measured and you believe everything you say, you don't have to worry about meeting up with people. So let me just punch a hole into this real quick.
Do that.
So for Stewart was, if he was waiting on his teammates to hold him back, when he went in the back to the locker room and he was trying to run all the way back around the not the tunnel, but the hallway that's under. Yep. If he's trying to run all the way back around that way to get to the Lakers locker room, that's not tough guy stuff. That is, you're really trying to control your anger and trying to get to somebody. So, okay, Gil, I mean, whatever, but we know.
He ended it with, like, you know what? Effectively a newfound respect for Stewart. He was like, I'm going to tell y'all, Detroit, he got that Detroit in him. He was like, I see it. He was like, I am a Detroit Pistons fan. It's like, you know what, Gil? We respect it. We're still not hitting subscribe. But you guys hit like and subscribe here. We're not doing it. But Rod, I got to get your take on something, bro. Cade Cunningham, man. We got to talk about our dog. He's showing up on some lists, man. He's showing up on some lists, a lot of these lists. And I want to get to, before we actually close, before I let you go a little bit, I want to be able to talk to you about Cade. They had him on this list. Let me bring it up here. And I thought it was pretty interesting, man.
I did see Austin Reeves as the new odds-on favorite to win Most Improved.
Don't do that to me, Rod.
That was Vegas. That's Vegas. That is Vegas. And I'm just like, y'all going wild over FIBA World Cup? And how is a dude on Bron's team gonna win most improved. How does that even work?
No,
Just send all your Vegas money to me. If you're betting on Austin Reeves to be the most improved, just send the money to me and I'll make the bets for you.
it's
Wink.
not. Look,
Wink.
bro, it's not happening this year. I don't. It's not happening this year. From everything we see, from everything we know, from the work that's being put in, from the proof that's going on in these practices, that's not happening this year. I'm sorry. That's wild, bro.
That's just where we are in the world. I didn't even mean to get you all hyped up like that. But
I had to put the glasses back on, man. I'm seeing red now. I'm like, man, goodness gracious, I'm so tired of this, Rod. It's like this is partly why we do this, because you know, let's have the proper coverage actually out there. It's like, what does this guy need to do? And I get it. Be healthy, playing the games. But come on, man. The things that he's already put out there on tape. This is not about an injury-prone player. This is about a guy who says, I really want to work y'all even more than I already have. I want 2 legs. Cade was saying, I can play like this still, man. I was just averaging 28, 8, and 8. I'm telling you guys. Bro, the conversation I had with Ashton and Cannon after the Boston game, that next home game, Cannon was there in the arena. He was like, bro, Cade's pissed. He's like, look, he knows he has to do this for the squad, but he just had 4 points against Boston. He wants to go back out there, and he knows Boston's coming up again. Like, that's who he is. And before that stretch, we know what type of player he is. Like, I don't have to continue to talk the virtues of Cade Cunningham, bro. Like, I can't wait for this season, dog.
You got so angry so quick. You got angry. What's your anger word? Is it Austin Reeves? Is that the anger word?
Austin, man.
Is that the word to make you angry?
Austin Reeves is going to be this year's Scotty Barnes to me. And I'm hoping that Cade takes every single one of these matchups against his draft class, against these people he's supposed to be pitted against in awards. I don't like all of it, man. Like, even you remember when Kobe, man, R.I.P. Kobe, went to the All-Star game and was like, I'm really out here strapping up, Bron. Remember the 04 Pistons when they finally honored them and they put them in the game and they were like, we're really out here too. I don't care if y'all think this is an exhibition. We're out here to do what we do. That's the approach that I'm not going to say I hope. I'm not going to say I hope anymore, man. Look, man, we talk to these people.
What Cade,
I know this is what he's doing this year.
Cade takes every slight. Everything is a slight to him. So, I mean, Austin Reeves being the, at best, 3rd best player on his team, winning most improved is a wild take. That is
Look, Bleacher Report, bro.
I mean, if you're betting on that, just for real, send me the money. I'll make the bet for you.
Vegas,
if you think Austin Reeves is going to be most improved, it's just that's on you.
Well, look, man, look. Bleacher Report's top 10 guards under 25 with the highest ceilings. I don't know if you've seen this list, but there's some guards on here that I've consistently said who are established that I believe Cade Cunningham, it's time for him to be talked about amongst these people. We've seen other guards and other players come in injured, even like Zion Williamson, and they still talk about these young players in the certain echelon. Cade Cunningham is one of those guys to me. And it's cool to now start seeing him get his due before he's, like I said last time, man, he only played 12 games last season. But it's Cade Cunningham, and that's why we got the shades on, man, because I believe his star is bright, and it's only going to continue to shine brighter. This is the list, though. Number 1, Luka Doncic. Number 2, Anthony Edwards. Number 3, Ja Morant. Number 4, Tyrese Halliburton. 5, LaMelo Ball. 6, Darius Garland. This one, to me, is a little controversial, but with the people behind, I'm like, I'll deal with it. Scoot Henderson at number 7.
Word. Okay.
Word life.
Okay.
I was like, all right, number 8, our guy Cade Cunningham. Number 9, Jalen Williams. Number 10, Josh Giddey. It's like, okay, they got him on there. Because Jalen Duren was actually left off the big man list of this. You there, Rod? You froze?
I'm just
we'll get back to Cade.
I'm just okay. So it's in the qualification because I was about to go a little ham. So Scoot, you think has a higher ceiling than Cade? Okay. Josh Giddey was at 8. Who? It would give me those last 4 again.
Yeah, the last four: Scoot Henderson, Cade Cunningham, Jalen Williams, and Josh Giddey at 10. I feel like that's man, I don't know. Something feels a little dirty about that one too. Just a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
Talk to me, Rod. Talk to me, Rod.
I ain't even got breath for that, man. That's just because they had to super qualify it with a lot of words in the title. Top 10 guards under 25 with the highest ceiling. That's like,
yep. They did do a prediction of who they believe the top 30 guards in the NBA will be. I believe that Cade Cunningham is going to flesh out to be this year a top 5 point guard in the East. Looking at how things broke down last year in terms of player efficiency rating, looking at the guys he's going to be matched up against, I believe he has a good shot. I think that should be the gauntlet. Find your way into that top 5. You look at the players who are there and you look at who's been traded out. He has a good chance to get there. They have Cade Cunningham in the top 30 guards, though, their prediction. So they have him as one of these top 10 guys with the highest ceilings. They have him also at 19, bro. Number 19. Shout out at Sido2. He's actually going to be somebody that's going to be contributing to our Woodward Pistons platform. And I'm proud of it. I'm excited. I need to sit down and talk with him in a little bit, but he's really been supporting the content. And shout out to him for bringing this to my attention as well. But the players ahead of Cade Cunningham, he's at 19. Darius Garland, Drew Holiday, Jalen Brunson, Bradley Beal, Tyrese Halliburton at number 14, bro.
Okay.
I think that it's a gauntlet. Look, in the past, our players were completely left off these types of things. Like what's happening to Jalen Duren right now and like the big man aspect of these things is what usually happens to our guys. I'm trying to be level-headed because we're like, people don't watch our people. They don't watch the Pistons, but they're starting to at least put Cade there. And it's like you said, they're like, okay, he's there. They put their qualifiers. I can't really split the hair, but I started noticing he's popping up on all these lists, and that's what I wanted to highlight. That's why I was like, you know what? People are starting to, they know what the deal is. I believe Cade Cunningham is going to have an all-star level.
Let me leave you with this.
Talk to me, brother.
Let me leave you with this. You completely agreed with. Was there ever a list, any list of anything with this type of NBA something? Was there any list that you said you got that exactly right? That you can remember? Because it's meant to, every list has an agenda to it.
Yeah.
And so it's meant to make you feel a certain way or to pump up somebody that this person who's making the list thinks is really good, or to diss somebody that they think is not as good as everybody else says. That's the point of you making a list. You can't, if you made a list and said who were the top 5, like the Isaiah Thomas stuff, is he ahead of Steph Curry? Why are you even making a list? Because you have a Steph Curry agenda. You want to say Steph is better than Isaiah. That's why we're even seeing the list. If you thought Isaiah was better than Steph, you would never make a list because you would say this is the assumed logic that comes out of this. So every list and every time somebody makes a list, there's some agenda. They want to say, okay, here's my hot take. Steph better than Isaiah. Whatever. Steph better than Magic. Steph is the best point guard ever. Hot take, crazy take. And that's why I don't like lists like that.
Listen to Rod, y'all.
That's why I don't like lists like that, because it comes with an agenda, and it they want to go counterculture, counterintuitive to what people think anyway. So I don't normally do literally look at lists and put any kind of gospel into them. I look at lists and say, here's what I agree with. Here's the one part that I don't agree with. Let's break down this particular thing, because in most lists, everything else is right. And there's one thing where you can say, okay, here's the agenda they're trying to make. Everything else is cool.
Like that one list I sent you when they were like, Cade Cunningham does not do well in the mid. He ducks the mid range. And we were like, what? Right. If there's one thing to get right about Cade, is that man lives and loves the mid range.
Right. So you can say that's kind of a Scoot agenda on that, and you can tell a list is going to have something that sticks out that isn't quite right, and that's what the agenda is every single time. Yep. So the Cade stuff, the lists, whatever. And Cade is going to do the same thing, but Cade is going to take it out onto the court. We can sit on the mic and just say, "Oh, this doesn't make sense." Cade is going to take it personally, and then when he sees Scoot or Tyrese or whoever, he's dunking on him or he's driving by him. So I'll leave you with that. A list is just a list, and it comes with an agenda in almost every case.
Yep, it is cool. As we wrap up, and I said we would just kind of briefly touch on it. The young core, the Pistons, is cool to see them actually included. Before this year, when we just kind of had Cade, they still weren't included in these types of things. But now they had them on here with the Spurs, OKC, the Rockets, the Magic, the Hornets, the Pacers, and the Blazers. And when I look at these young cores, I actually feel pretty confident about the Pistons. When I look at these guys, I feel like they have one of the smarter rooms. Obviously, OKC is going to be tough. They're going to be so tough, man. And I think that they're the most established, followed by Indiana of this group. But I believe that the Pistons have an opportunity to find themselves. They listed Cade, Ivy, and Jalen Duren. And I believe what separates the Pistons is that they have kind of this fourth figure in Asar Thompson that I believe is going to play and prove to be something much different. Do you believe that he's going to prove to be an impact player day one? Just before we close.
I'm going to say no. Not impact day one. I'm going to say season one. He's going to figure some things out. But season one, yes, I think he'll be a difference maker. Day one, I'll say it's still going to take some time. And so when you talk about young cores, I think you can put Isaiah Stewart in that because he's really only 3 years older and he came out as a freshman. So he's what, 22? Yeah, Isaiah Stewart, 22.
You're right. I meant to include him as like almost the young Udonis Haslem. So if people don't believe he's of a star caliber, like they look at the 3 or 4, he is definitely solid. He is as solid as you can get if you don't want to believe he's going to reach their pinnacle in terms of potential. So you got to have him. This guy, especially as the old guard is going out, who's bossing up on Stewart? The old guard ain't. You got former All-Stars, man. Like, nah, Stewart, we're cool. Even LeBron, oh no, me and Stu, cool. What? LeBron don't bow to nothing.
Right. So and here's the last thing. If you're talking about Thompson could start with Stewart and Duren, if that's a lineup that you're throwing around, then that suggests too that Stewart is part of that young core. You're just trying to say if you're defining young core as the last 2 years or 3 years in the draft, then sure. But I think Stewart is right on that cusp with the rest of those guys. That's all I got for you.
Hey, you know what? I thought this one was a good one, man. Get in, get out. Hey, listen, training camp month. There's a lot of fun things on the way. And I can't wait, bro. Like, it's already here. I can't wait. I know we have I can't talk about it yet, but we had some friends, man, that got some good news this year, man. Some mutual friends that are also on this channel and on another channel. And my heart, man, is ecstatic for people for this Pistons season. So definitely to everybody out there, content creation world, everybody who's covering the Pistons, continue to grind, continue to do it the right way, continue to be professional with it, continue to have fun with it. Do this thing the right way, collaborate and push for other people. This community is supposed to be about what you do to push people to the top. Even if you don't think you're getting yours, help, man. Just lend a helping hand. Be ecstatic for people. Like this. I gotta get this drum roll going for Rod. Thank you, brother. As always. Any last words?
No, man. We're in training camp month. You said it. It's about to get back going.
I think y'all look. It's your boy Brandon Dent, aka Detroit Kool-Aid. Thank you for rocking out with the Woodward Pistons podcast on the Woodward Sports Network. We're inching closer, and as season goes, we got, like I told you, new shows hitting the main network. So stay tuned, subscribe, and like this video, you guys, definitely. But let's get this drum roll going. Hey, yo! Shout out to the legend Detroit News, Rod Beard, brother. Thank you as always, man. Till next time.
All right, bro. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, bro.